Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. Today, we're going deep into AI,
That's good.
especially all the latest stuff. You shared a really great article with me. Is OpenAI's genius-level AI really worth $20,000 per month? And it covers so much ground, from like pricing for these really advanced AI agents to, what's new in the apps we use all the time, and even some pretty big leaps in the tech behind AI, like the hardware and the creative tools. I think this is going to be a great way for everyone to get up to speed on what's actually important in AI right now.
Absolutely. I think this article gives a fantastic overview of just how fast things are changing.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can cut through some of the noise and give everyone a good understanding of what these developments could mean for them. Maybe even uncover a few surprises along the way.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's start with this whole thing about OpenAI and how they're thinking about pricing these advanced AI agents. Now, we're not talking about your everyday ChatGPT subscription here. This is something completely different. And the article throws out some pretty big numbers, like going from a couple $1,000s a month all the way up to $20,000 a month. So help me understand this. What's the logic behind this kind of pricing?
Well, the really interesting part is how they seem to be categorizing these agents based on their abilities. So the article talks about a low-end agent maybe costing around $2,000 a month. That could be like your research assistant. Then you have a mid-tier agent, possibly around $10,000 a month, that could handle things like software development.
Wow.
And then at the top, you have the high-end agents that are supposed to be capable of doing like PhD-level research, and those could run you a crazy $20,000 every single month.
Right.
So it seems like the price isn't just about how powerful the AI is, but also how good it is at solving complex problems on its own.
Okay, yeah. $20,000 a month.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes the $20 for ChatGPT Plus seem like, pocket change. And the article does a good job of explaining that our current ChatGPT isn't really an agent in the same way these more advanced systems are supposed to be. I mean, ChatGPT is a powerful tool, but you still have to tell it what to do every step of the way. These agents, on the other hand, sound like they'll be way more independent, able to take on these really big projects without needing someone to hold their hand.
Exactly. That's the key difference, that autonomy.
Right.
Think of ChatGPT as a brilliant coworker, but one who still needs your input and guidance every step of the way. These agents, they're being designed to take a high-level goal and then figure out how to achieve it on their own, without you having to micromanage them.
Got it.
It's like the difference between having a really smart research assistant that you have to constantly tell what to do and having a project manager who's an expert in their field and can just run with things. But, it's important to remember that these prices are still being tested. OpenAI is still figuring out what people are willing to pay.
Yeah, which brings up a really important point that the article makes. Couldn't you just hire a really good human for that kind of money?
Right.
I mean, $2,000 a month for a research assistant, $10,000 for a coder, $20,000 for a PhD researcher. I mean, those are pretty competitive salaries for people who bring all those human qualities to the table, like creativity, understanding, and all that. So what would these AI agents have to offer to justify that kind of cost compared to a human?
That's a really important question. It's all about the value proposition, right? A human brings a level of understanding and adaptability that's really hard to replicate. But an AI agent, theoretically, could work 24/7, process information way faster, and maybe even avoid some of the limitations that humans have. The key is whether these agents can deliver a return on investment that makes that price tag worth it.
Yeah.
Will they be significantly faster, more accurate, or maybe even unlock some entirely new capabilities that a human just can't match? That's what businesses are going to have to weigh.
For sure. Okay, let's shift gears for a second and talk about the legal battle that's been going on between Elon Musk and OpenAI. For those who haven't been following this closely, Musk is trying to stop OpenAI from becoming a for-profit company. He says it goes against what they agreed on when he was involved in starting the company. So what's the latest on this?
Well, a judge has looked at the arguments and decided not to block OpenAI from becoming a for-profit company. But the judge is allowing the lawsuit to move forward to a trial. So this whole legal challenge is far from over. Sam Altman, the head of OpenAI, seems to think that Musk, who now owns his own AI company called XAI, might be trying to use this lawsuit to slow OpenAI down. It's like a subplot to the main story of how fast AI is developing.
Yeah, definitely add some drama to the whole thing.
Yeah.
But let's move on to some updates that are probably more relevant to our listeners, especially those who use ChatGPT. The article mentions that GPT 4.5 is now available to everyone who subscribes to ChatGPT Plus, which is the $20 a month plan. Before, it was only for the more expensive Pro members. So what does this wider release mean?
This is a pretty big deal because it makes these advanced AI capabilities accessible to more people. And it's been interesting to see how people's opinions of GPT 4.5 have changed since it came out.
Yeah.
Initially, the benchmarks weren't super impressive, but as more people have started using it, especially for creative things like writing, summarizing, and outlining, the feedback has become more positive. It seems like GPT 4.5 is better at understanding and generating language in a more nuanced way.
Right.
And that might not show up in raw numbers, but you can really feel it when you're actually using it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sometimes those subtle improvements in how AI understands language are more important than just raw power. And for those of us who use Macs, the ChatGPT desktop app just got a really useful update.
Oh, yeah.
Now, for Plus, Pro, and Team users, it can directly edit code inside IDEs, those integrated development environments that coders use. Basically, it's like a coder's workshop. So how does this new ChatGPT integration work with that?
It's a really smart integration that could save developers a lot of time. The article gives an example of generating and applying a Starfield view code right inside an IDE.
Cool.
So imagine being able to just tell ChatGPT what kind of code changes you want, and then having it do those changes directly in your coding environment. It's a step towards making AI assistance a more seamless part of the coding process.
Absolutely. That's huge for productivity. Okay, let's talk about Google and how they're getting more involved with AI search. They're testing a new AI mode in Google Labs that sounds a lot like what Perplexity and OpenAI are doing with their search features. It basically searches the web and gives you AI-generated summaries with links back to where the information came from. So what's Google's strategy here?
It seems like this is the natural next step for search engines. Instead of just giving you a bunch of links and leaving you to figure things out, Google wants to do some of the work for you. They're trying to give you a direct answer based on information from multiple sources. But they're still being transparent by showing you where those sources are. The article mentions that you might need a Google One premium subscription to use this feature, which is their $20 a month plan. So we're seeing this trend of putting these more advanced AI features behind paywalls.
Yeah, interesting. The example in the article is really good. It talks about asking about your heart rate during deep sleep and then getting an AI response that summarizes information from different medical sources.
Right.
It's almost like having a personal researcher built right into your search engine.
Exactly.
But Google's AI plans go beyond just search. They're also using AI in Google Shopping in some really creative ways. What can you tell us about that?
The thing that stands out here is how they're using visual AI to make the shopping experience better. So imagine being able to describe a product that you have in mind, like a colorful mini dress with big daisies, and then having AI generate images of what that might look like. And then it can find actual products that match your description.
That's awesome.
They're also testing virtual makeup try-on and clothes try-on on different models.
Ooh, cool.
It's all about making online shopping more intuitive and less of a guessing game.
Yeah, that's great. And for those of us who work with data a lot, Google Sheets is getting some new AI features thanks to their Gemini AI, at least for paid workspace business users. It can now analyze data, find correlations, and point out outliers. The example in the article is about using a food log to see if there's a connection between what you eat and when you get a stomachache. It's like having a data scientist in your spreadsheet.
Exactly. Before, the AI in Sheets was mostly about suggesting formulas. But now it can really dig into your data and uncover hidden patterns that you might not see yourself. This is a big deal for businesses trying to understand trends in their sales data, or even for individuals trying to track their health.
Yeah, that's really cool. And Google isn't stopping at our desktops. They're planning to bring some pretty advanced AI assistants to our phones. It looks like we'll soon be able to share our screen or even our camera with AI to get help with things. And this will probably be available first to Google One AI Premium members and then later on for everyone else using Android. How do you think this kind of mobile AI will change how we use our phones?
This is a big step towards having a truly intelligent mobile assistant. I mean, imagine pointing your phone's camera at a broken appliance and having AI help you troubleshoot it.
Right.
Or sharing your screen with AI to get help with a complicated software setting. The fact that AI can actually see what you're dealing with could make it a much better experience compared to our current voice assistants, which, let's be honest, often don't really understand what we're trying to do.
Yeah, that's true. And in news that I think a lot of people will appreciate, Google is also rolling out an AI-powered scam detection feature for Android and Pixel phones. It's specifically for text messages, which we all get those shady ones about winning prizes or investing in something that sounds too good to be true. So how will AI help with this?
This is a really important use of AI focusing on keeping users safe. By looking at the language, patterns, and even where the text message is coming from, AI can spot potential scams and warn you before you even click on anything.
Okay,
It's like a proactive defense against all these increasingly clever online scams.
that's fantastic. And lastly, in the Google world, they gave us a sneak peek at Whisk Animate, which uses V2 to turn still images created in their Whisk image blending tool into short videos and animations. It seems like a fun way to make your static creations come to life, even if we don't have an exact release date yet.
Yeah, it definitely shows the trend of making AI tools for creativity more accessible to everyone.
Right.
Allowing people to create cool and dynamic content even if they're not tech experts.
Okay, so we can't forget about DuckDuckGo. They're making moves in AI too. They're offering free access to a bunch of popular AI chatbots like GPT-4, Llama 3, Claude, and Mistral through their Duck.ai platform. And they're really emphasizing privacy, saying they won't use your conversations to train these models. So what's DuckDuckGo's game plan here?
It's an interesting approach. Basically, they're creating a privacy-focused hub for all these different powerful AI models.
Okay.
So you can choose which AI you want to talk to, and they promise not to track or store your data. It's different from building their own AI from scratch. But one thing to note is that, at least for now, there doesn't seem to be a way to do web searches directly within the Duck.ai chatbot interface. It's more about having a one-on-one conversation with the AI you choose.
Got it. So it's like a direct line to these large language models.
Yeah.
But DuckDuckGo's regular search engine is also getting some AI help with what they call assist mode. This gives you AI-generated overviews based on information from different sources.
Right.
The article uses the example of searching, how do I change a tire? And getting an AI summary with links to places like Home Depot and Dummies.com. It's a way to get quick and useful information without having to click through a ton of links.
Yeah, it's a cool mix of approaches.
Right.
They're giving you that direct access to chatbots with a focus on privacy, but also enhancing their regular search engine with AI. It could be a good option for people who want both privacy and convenience.
Yeah, that's smart. And Microsoft's Copilot got a little makeover for its Windows app this week. Not a huge redesign, but it shows they're still working on integrating AI assistance into the operating system.
Yeah, little improvements to the user interface can make a big difference over time.
Right.
Make the AI feel more like a natural part of your workflow.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, let's get into some of the more technical stuff from the article. Alibaba's Quinn team just released QWQ32B, which is a new reasoning model with a relatively small 32 billion parameters.
Right.
But what's really impressive is how well it's performing.
What's remarkable is that this smaller model is doing as well as, and in some cases even better than, DeepSeek R1, which has a whopping 671 billion parameters. This is on the AIM-24 benchmark for math problem solving.
Wow, that's crazy.
While QWQ32B didn't quite match DeepSeek R1 on coding and logic tests, it outperformed it on instruction following and function calling, which is how language models interact with and execute code in languages like Python and Java. It shows that bigger isn't always better in AI, and we're seeing real progress in making these models more efficient.
That's like a classic underdog story, a smaller model going up against a giant.
Right.
And the fact that they've made the code and model wastes available to everyone on Hugging Face, along with the demo, is great news for open source AI. It means researchers and developers all over the world can use this technology and build on it.
Absolutely. This kind of open source development is so important for driving innovation in AI.
Okay, for those who like talking to their AI, Perplexity's voice mode, which has been popular on their mobile app, is now available in their Mac app too.
Oh, nice.
And Grok's AI voice mode is now free for everyone who uses their iOS app. Before, you had to pay extra for it. What do you think this tells us about the future of how we'll interact with AI?
I think it shows that we're moving towards more natural and conversational experiences with AI.
Yeah.
Making Grok's voice mode free on iOS could mean a lot more people start using it, which could make voice interaction with AI a more normal part of our daily lives.
For sure. But if we're talking about really impressive AI voices, the article highlights Sesame's new AI voice conversation tool. They're getting comparisons to the AI in the movie Her.
Oh, wow.
They have this voice called Maya that sounds incredibly natural, like a real human. It's kind of mind-blowing.
The thing that really stands out about Sesame's voice is how human-like it is. The pauses, the intonation, it really blurs the lines between what's artificial and what's real. And the fact that this is getting a lot of attention in AI circles but hasn't really hit the mainstream news yet suggests that we might be on the verge of some really big changes in how we use voice to communicate with AI.
It's both exciting and a little bit unsettling at the same time.
Yeah.
And speaking of audio, Podcastle, a company that makes tools for podcasters, has just released its own text-to-speech model with over 450 AI voices. It's basically trying to compete with 11 Labs. What's the big deal here?
While early reviews suggest that some of the voices might still sound a little robotic, the key is that they have a lot of voices to choose from. And, even more importantly, you can train the model on specific voice samples to create personalized voices. This could mean that in the future, AI-generated podcasts or audio content with really realistic and even personalized voices could become much more common.
Interesting. On a more practical and maybe a bit controversial note, the article talks about how Teleperformance, a really big call center company, is using AI to translate accents in India.
Oh, right.
So their staff sound less Indian to international clients.
Right.
What are your thoughts on the implications of this kind of technology?
This is a really tricky one. On the one hand, the goal is to make customer service clearer by reducing communication problems caused by accents.
Yeah.
But it also raises questions about authenticity and whether it's right to mask someone's identity. It's a technology that could be used for good or bad, and we need to be really careful about how it's implemented.
Absolutely. And on a similar note, Amazon Prime is testing AI dubbing to translate TV shows and movies into different languages. This could be a big deal for how we watch international content.
Definitely. It could make it much easier for people all over the world to enjoy films and shows in their own languages.
Yeah.
It could really break down barriers and make creative content more accessible to a wider audience.
For sure. Meta is also working on some cool avatar technology. They developed a way to create 3D avatars from just 4 cell phones.
Oh, no.
This is obviously useful for VR and metaverse platforms.
Right.
How do you think this will improve the user experience in those virtual worlds?
It could make our digital representations in virtual worlds much more realistic and personalized.
Yeah.
Which could really enhance the sense of presence, immersion, and connection between users, making those interactions feel more genuine.
Absolutely. And for those who have been following Pika Labs and their rapid progress in AI video editing, all of their latest features like changing specific parts of a video, adding AI-generated elements, smoothing out frames, and blending images, are now available in the Ka AI platform. It seems like these powerful AI video tools are becoming more accessible through these integrated platforms.
Yeah, it's great to see these different AI functionalities coming together in one place.
Right.
It streamlines the creative process and makes it easier for people to use these advanced tools without having to switch between different applications.
Exactly. And Tencent isn't letting anyone get ahead in the video generation space. They've released an open-source AI video model called Hunyuan Video I2V, and the article mentions it has some pretty amazing capabilities. They even gave an example of it generating a penguin wearing a dragon suit.
The examples we've seen do suggest a big leap forward in the quality and creative potential of open-source AI video generation. It's great that they've shared the code on GitHub, even if there isn't a public testing interface that's easy to use just yet. It means more people can experiment with this technology and build on it.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Heijin Labs has also launched Character 3, which they call an omnimodal AI model for intelligent video generation. Basically, it can understand and work with images, text, and audio all at the same time. Their Heijin Studio lets you do things like text to video, audio to video, create characters, change backgrounds, and even control the emotions in the AI speech. That sounds really advanced.
Yeah, that omnimodal approach is really interesting. It's like AI is becoming more well-rounded and able to handle different forms of content seamlessly.
Right.
The demo video they showed with full body expressions and dynamic environments is really impressive. It suggests a big step forward in making AI-generated videos more believable and engaging. You mentioned that the voice still sounded a little robotic in your testing, but the overall capabilities are really promising.
Yeah, I agree. And the progress in conversational video interfaces is also really exciting. Tabas has introduced a whole family of AI models. Phoenix 3 for creating realistic faces with microexpressions, Raven 0 to help AI understand what it's seeing in real time, and Sparrow 0 for more natural back-and-forth conversation.
Wow.
They even showed a demo of a video chat with an AI named Charlie. It was pretty cool, even if the voice and lip syncing weren't perfect yet. What do you think the potential of these technologies is?
It's fascinating to see all these specialized models working together to create conversational video interfaces. I mean, imagine AI that can understand your facial expressions and have a natural conversation with you, all while looking like a real person. This could revolutionize how we interact with virtual assistants and lead to some really immersive communication technologies.
For sure. Now, in a slightly different application, researchers are using the video game Super Mario to test how well AI performs, especially when it comes to reaction time and decision-making in a dynamic environment. And apparently, Claude 3.7 is really good at playing Super Mario. It's beating other models, so why Super Mario?
Using a game like Super Mario is actually a really good way to test how well AI can process information, react quickly, and make decisions in a changing environment.
Okay.
Unlike games where you take turns, like chess, Super Mario requires constant adaptation and precise timing. Claude 3.7's success suggests it's really good at those things.
That's cool. And Opera Browser is getting in on the AI assistant action too, with their AI browser operator, which will be built right into the browser.
Oh, yeah.
It's supposed to help you do things online, like finding and adding things to your shopping cart, or even planning more complicated tasks like buying event tickets.
That's convenient.
Yeah, it sounds really useful.
It's another example of AI becoming a more integrated part of the tools we use every day.
Exactly. And even though Apple just released their M4 chip, they also announced the M3 Ultra chip, which can have up to 512 gigabytes of memory.
Oh.
And they released new iPads and Macs too. This really shows how focused Apple is on building hardware that can handle AI, especially with the new Mac Studio, which can run really big language models all on its own without relying on the cloud. What do you think this means for Apple's AI strategy?
I think it shows how important it is to be able to run AI models directly on devices instead of relying on the cloud all the time.
Right.
The sheer amount of memory in the M3 Ultra and the new Mac Studio tells us that these big AI models need a lot of power, and Apple wants to make sure their devices can handle it. This has implications for speed, privacy, and reliability.
That makes sense. Mistral AI has also released a new OCR model, which is apparently the best one yet for extracting text from images and PDFs. This might seem like a small thing, but accurate OCR is really important for a lot of AI applications that need to understand visual information.
Yeah, it's a fundamental technology.
Right.
Being able to accurately recognize text is crucial for a lot of AI applications, so any improvements in OCR are a big deal.
Absolutely. And for all the coders out there, Codium has released Windsurf Wave 4, which is an AI coding tool that comes with features like app preview, suggested actions, and what they call MCP discoverability. The article explains that MCP, or Model Context Protocol, is a standard way for large language models to talk to external tools and APIs. Why is a standard like this so important for AI coding assistants?
Having standard protocols like MCP is really important because it allows different AI coding tools to easily connect with and use a wider range of features from other software tools.
Right.
It's like creating a common language that everyone can understand, which makes these AI tools much more powerful and versatile.
Yeah, that's great. One of the most mind-blowing things from the article is Cortical Labs' creation of a biological computer called a CL1.
Yeah, that's wild.
It uses real human brain cells combined with silicon hardware. The possibilities for things like better drug testing for neurological diseases and creating more organic forms of intelligence are just incredible. And they even got this thing to play Pong.
That's amazing.
What do you think the big implications of this are?
This is a truly groundbreaking development. It blurs the lines between biology and technology in a way we've never seen before.
Right.
By combining living brain cells with silicon, Cortical Labs is opening up completely new ways of understanding the brain and developing more sophisticated tools for diagnosing and treating neurological disorders.
It's pretty mind-blowing.
It is. The fact that they've already shown that this hybrid system can actually function and even play a game, even a simple one like Pong, is a huge step forward. It opens up all sorts of possibilities for the future of computing and neuroscience.
Absolutely. And lastly, the article wraps up with a few quick updates. Uber and Waymo are joining forces for self-driving car services in Austin. A fully autonomous Maserati MC20 just broke the autonomous speed record by hitting almost 200 miles per hour. And P&D Robotics showed off a robot with incredibly natural and fluid movements that look almost human.
Wow.
It's a good reminder that AI isn't just about software.
Right.
It's also driving huge advancements in robotics and autonomous systems.
Absolutely. And those examples really highlight how AI is impacting so many different industries and changing everything from how we get around to how things are made.
So we've covered a ton of ground today. We've explored the potential of these incredibly powerful but possibly really expensive AI agents, and we've looked at the practical improvements and tools we use every day, like ChatGPT, Google, and DuckDuckGo.
Right.
We even touched on some really cutting-edge research that's pushing the boundaries of AI hardware and creating more lifelike AI-generated media.
It's been a whirlwind tour of just how quickly AI is evolving.
And that brings us to our final thought for you today. With all of these rapid advancements in AI, especially in creating more human-like interactions and the potential for AI agents to take on bigger and more complex tasks, how do you see AI shaping your work or your daily life in the years to come? Are you excited about these changes? Are you cautious? Or maybe a bit of both?
Yeah.
It's a question that we all need to consider as AI continues to evolve. It makes us think deeply about the future of work, creativity, and how we'll interact with machines in the future.
For sure.
Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive today. We'll see you next time.